और इस वक्त बिलावल भुट्टो तकरीब से खिताब कर रहे हैं, आइए आपको दिखाते हैं।
Putting together this spectacular event, which I feel is much needed at this time. Famed and highly persecuted Christian mystic Meister Eckhart is said to have remarked that theologians may quarrel, but the mystics of the world speak the same language. Today, as the world becomes increasingly polarized, today we need the Sufi more than ever before. We need that universal language of the mystic to unite us, to bridge the gap across religions, cultures, and people, to remind us that at our very core, we are all one. We are all the same, and that the human family is merely one body with many parts, creations arising from one unseen essence. As the 13th century Persian poet Sadi of Shiraz so beautifully said, Sufis have only ever spoken of change through the self. It is only when we conquer ourselves from within that we can hope to change that which surrounds us. I am awed whenever I attempt in my own meager capacity to learn the ways of Sufism. Such immense power the Sufi attributes to the self, the majesty of the all-encompassing self, interfaith harmony, religious tolerance, inclusiveness. These are all terms that we hear today, that we, the progressives, like to bandy about when we discuss the cure for all that ails society today. But the Sufi thought encapsulated all these and more upon its inception many hundreds of years ago. Centuries ago, it was the Sufis that spread Islam across the Indus Valley. Through love and harmony, luminaries like Data Sahib, Rahman Baba, Bulle Shah, and their contemporaries strove tirelessly out of their sheer devotion to the deity, and their devotion inspired millions to embrace Islam. Today, sadly, extremism is worn like a badge of honor. Those that lie do so with impunity, peddling fear. Their purpose is simple: to deceive enough people that they may establish a truth of their own choosing. Meanwhile, the voice of the absolute truth, and it pains me to say this, but the voice of the absolute truth grows dimmer. And this is when we first cede to the extremists. The first time we forcibly quell our inner truth and conform to an extremist mindset. The first time we decide that our one voice of reason is not enough to fight the many unreasonable ones. That's when we decide to lay our weapons before the fight has even begun. For the Sufi too has his weapons, the weapons of truth, of love, of acceptance. For the very first step towards healing is acceptance. It is as Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Our society stands deeply wounded today, and the wound continues to fester, unchecked and untreated. Most of us too afraid to acknowledge the disease, too afraid to expose the malaise, and to let the light shine through it, allowing the healing to begin. Sindh is known as the land of the Sufis. From Lal Shahbaz Qalandar to Shah Abdul Latif Bhittai, from Sachal Sarmas to Shah Inayat, we are destined to stand up for truth, and only for the truth. Is it any surprise then that the Bhutto family hailed from this very land? When my mother, Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto Shaheed, raised the flag for the truth, there were few who were willing to lend their voices to hers, and fewer still who chose to stand beside her. But she continued, undaunted, in the proud tradition of the Sufi, the torchbearer of the truth, fighting the honest fight, the non-violent fight, but the most important fight, the fight against injustice, the fight for the triumph of the truth. When barbarians attacked the shrine of Lal Shehbaz, they shook us all to the core. The devotees that were martyred took a piece of us with them. We lost our bearings. Devastated, disorientated, we were lost. It was then that mere hours after suicide bombers blew themselves up at that beautiful spiritual place, that one man decided he would not cower. He got up and he rang the shrine's bell. And that bell, while it rang, served two purposes. First, it guided us out of the dark abyss into which we were spiraling. And second, it was the very death knell for every extremist that dared to target pluralistic Pakistan. Just like that bell ringer was the harbinger of doom for all extremists, we too must not be afraid to give voice for our beliefs. We need to have faith that our lone voice will make the difference. We need to find in ourselves the courage to acknowledge that we are flawed and the strength to accept that we need help. For if today we allow ourselves to fall silent, then tomorrow, I am afraid, there may just be no one left to hear us. Today, ladies and gentlemen, scholars, I urge you to deliberate just how we veered so far from the path of the Sufi, and what's the shortest, most effective way back. Because I, for one, believe with all my heart that the salvation of mankind lies at the hand of the Sufi. For it is only he who has the courage to say, I looked in temples, churches, and mosques, but I found the divine within my heart. So let's all search within our hearts and let the journey begin. Good luck and Godspeed. Thank you.
आपने इस वक्त देखा बिलावल भुट्टो खिताब कर रहे हैं एक तकरीब से। उन्होंने खिताब करते हुए कहा कि सिंध सूफियों की ज़मीन है, सूफ़ी की कोई ज़बान नहीं होती। उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि मज़हब, सकाफ़त और अवाम के दरमियान खला कम करना होगा। उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि सिंध को सूफियों की ज़मीन और सरज़मीन समझा गया है। उन्होंने कहा कॉन्फ्रेंस के शुरका को खुशामदीद कहता हूँ, और ये भी कहा कि जंग करें तो सच्चाई और इंसाफ के लिए करें। बिलावल भुट्टो ने खिताब करते हुए ये भी कहा कि लड़ें तो अमन के लिए लड़ें, जंग करें तो वो भी अमन के लिए करें। आज वो एक तकरीब से खिताब कर रहे हैं और ख़िताब करते हुए उन्होंने ये अल्फाज कहे और कहा कि मौजूदा दौर में सूफ़ी मुआशरे की ज़रूरत बन गए हैं, और सिंध को उन्होंने बताया कि ये सूफ़ियों की ज़मीन है और इसको हमेशा सूफ़ियों की सरज़मीन ही समझा गया है।